everybody to Direct Sales Training with Rich Norton. Today we are actually going to focus on selling on this episode and some important factors that will help you when it comes to the psychology of selling and things that will help you as you're visiting prospects. Now, here is the issue that I find with what we call typical salesperson. Many people have the wrong impression that salespeople have to have the gift of gab. We've all heard that before, and I've heard people say this before. I could never be a good salesperson because I'm an introvert, or I'm not the life of the party at all, and I don't have the gift of gab. And then you hear people on the other end that will say, oh man, I'm the life of the party. I can walk into any room and light the room up, and it's all about me, 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 and I'm the one that makes it happen. People love me, and I can sell ice to an Eskimo. And I've met people like that, and I have found that those type of people really aren't very successful in the field of selling because they spend way too much time talking about themselves, overselling themselves, spending too much time, selling something or talking about things that make absolutely no sense at all. And then you've got the person that if they have confidence and they believe in themselves and they enjoy what they're doing, if they do that, whether they're an introvert or whether they're the life of the party or not, it doesn't matter. And I have found that those type of people that have maybe a lower key personality, but they're sincere and they're genuine, those are the ones that have a lot of success. In fact, the most success, I have found the ones that are what we call quiet or quieter are the ones that have big success. Now, you may be thinking like, wow, that doesn't sound like what I've heard about when it comes to direct sales. Why is that? Well, let's expand or expound on that a little bit more. The difference is, in fact, if you're taking notes on this, which I highly recommend, I want you to get this today. The best salespeople are the best listeners. And I'll say that again. The best salespeople are the best listeners. So what does that mean for you when it comes to selling? That means, here's where people make a mistake. They oversell and they talk too much, and they don't listen to what the prospect's needs are. So how do we find out and how do we learn to listen more? Very important. And I understand this when you're new in the field of selling or direct selling, or let's say you're selling a new product. It's important. You want to make sure you get your presentation down, you know what you're talking about. But what ends up happening is sometimes we get so caught up in that we stop paying attention to the prospect, because as they're talking, really we're not even listening to them, and we're thinking about the next thing to say in our pitch. Guilty, right? I know many of people are watching this right now and they're saying, you just described what I do. I'm not really listening to people at all. So it's very important, and I want you to understand that again. The best salespeople are the best listeners. So as you're meeting new prospects, talk slow, ask them questions. The person that's asking the questions is the one that's in control. Now, when you ask the questions, very important that you get this, listen to your prospects. Why are you doing this? Because you are trying to find out what are their pain points. So when you're asking questions, listen to what they're saying. Do not interrupt them as much as you want to. Listen to what they're saying, unless they go on and on and on and on about everything else. Then you may have to intervene. That happens as well. But typically, the majority of the time, listen to what they're saying, and this is what you're doing. You're finding out what their pain points are. So, for example, here's a great thing that we do in our business. Get the people talking about themselves. People love to talk about themselves. They love to talk about their accomplishments. You don't have to go into pitch mode right away. A lot of people do that and they lose people. And they think, the prospect thinks, Here's a typical salesperson just trying to sell me something. And you're lost there. So what you want to do is get to know your people and show a genuine interest in them and what their lives are about and what they're doing. And it's simple by meeting people for the very first time, sincerity, being genuine, and just ask them. Simple questions. Are you guys from here originally? No, we're not. We're from so-and-so. Get them talking about that. Wow, how long have you been down here? We've been here about 20 years. I grew up in so-and-so. And if you got something in common with them, because that goes a long way, find something that's mutual, something that's common that you both can relate to. I grew up in New England, they'll say. Really? What part? I grew up in Massachusetts. Wow, I'm from Connecticut. What part of Massachusetts? I'm in this town. I know exactly where that's at. I grew up. Now we've got a little bond thing going. Does that make you a Red Sox fan? Oh yeah, I've always been a Red Sox fan. Myself, my dad took me to Fenway Park when I was 8 years old. I suffered through all those years. Now we're talking. You see what we're doing? We're not thinking about pitching. We're developing a rapport, and we're asking questions to get to know the people. You walk into a home of a prospect or a business, whatever you're selling, and you see something like a trophy, or you see something on the wall, or you see something that looks nice. Compliment them on that. That goes a long way also. Compliment them, and what are they going to say? They're going to respond. If you're genuine and you're sincere about the compliments, they're going to say thank you. That is developing a nice rapport. Wow, what a great place. How long have you guys been here? We've been here such and such a time. Wow, is this a family business? Yes, it is. Did you grow up in the business yourself? Oh yeah, my granddaddy had it and grandpa passed it down to my dad and I took over it about 5 years ago. Wow, it is so awesome to see a family business. You got sons working here now too? Yeah, there's my son over there. That's great. You guys are carrying on the legacy. Obviously, you're doing something right. I love to see businesses be in business this long, carrying on the legacy. So I'm sure Grandpa's looking down and he's proud of it if Grandpa's no longer around. So you see what I'm doing right there? Building a nice rapport, and I got a nice conversation going. Now you don't want to be a professional visitor and just talk about things, that's it, and then they get to the point like, what are you here for? You don't want to get to that level. You have to know when to move on and who you're dealing with, and when to know to that point where the people, what are you here for? You don't want them to get to that point. So you're letting them know what you're doing, and now you're going to ask them questions that's going to help you decide what is going to be the best program for this merchant. What is going to be their need? In case you haven't figured this out, you're not in the selling business, you're not in the convincing business, you are in the helping business. So if you find out what your prospects' needs are and what their pain points are right up front, this allows you to be able to come up with a solution for them. What does that make you? That makes you a problem solver, and that's what you're doing. And you are sending them a message. As you're asking them questions, you care about them. You care about what their needs are. You're not just going to sell them something that you're selling to everybody. You're going to find out what's the best solution for this particular prospect, and you're going to show them exactly what works for them. And how do we do that? Very simple, as I talked about earlier, by asking questions. Here's a great one that I use in our industry. Mr. Merchant, and I try to go by first names. Got a nice rapport going. Joe, I want to ask you about this. If there was something that you could change with your current merchant provider, I know there's probably a bunch, but what would be the top 2 on your list that you would like to see improved on? And then lay back and listen. Perfect right there. Now don't interrupt them. Listen to them, and as they're speaking, you are sincere and you're genuine and you really care what their answer is. Now they may come back with a response like, well, it seems like I don't get my money quick enough. and I need to have my money in the bank the next day. Well, how long is it taking you right now? It's taking about 3 days. Okay, well, here's what merchants love about us. They love the fact that they get to get their money, they get to have their money in the bank the next day. Merchants tell me that's important to them. Is that important for you guys as well? Yes, it is. You mean you guys do it the next day? Yes, we do. That's what merchants love about us. And you notice I'm using a lot of stories and a lot of third parties as opposed to, well, you're going to love us because this is what we do for you. You know, I'm telling stories, giving testimonies. They give another example. Well, I'd like to see my representative more. They disappeared. Well, merchants love the fact that they have my phone number. They can get in contact with me anytime. Would you agree that's important to most merchants? Yes, it is. You notice that I'm giving an explanation, a testimony, coming back with another question. Why? Because the person that's asking the questions is the person that's in control. So I'm going to sum this up by saying, as I said from the beginning, the best salespeople are the best listeners. Make sure you listen to your prospects, be sincere, be genuine, find out what is the best solution for them, and remember, you're not selling, you're not convincing, you are helping your prospects. Whatever you're selling, doesn't matter, go out and help somebody, and you will find yourselves getting a way better response than you've been getting if you've been that typical salesperson. So, best salespeople, best listeners. Go out and be a listener and go out and have great success. I wish you great success, and I'll see you next time on our next episode. Hi, it's Rich Norton here with the super crew of Payrock. Thank you for tuning in to our shows. As you see, I have a passion to teach people how to be super successful in the field of direct selling. Can you imagine that? 42 years of knocking on doors, knocking on businesses' doors, going out and speaking to people and having success. I want to share the knowledge, the passion that I have with as many as I possibly can. Many of you have reached out and you've inquired. You're like, hey, I'm in sales, or I want to get in sales. I want to do what you do. It's exciting. I want to learn more about it. Do you guys have opportunities? And the answer to that question is yes, we do. So if you're the type of person that is interested in earning great money up front, as well as building your own business, not by yourself, we're going to work with you and teach you how to do this business, but as well as earning residual income where you're making money while you sleep. So that's the opportunity that we have. If you'd like to learn more about it, you can reach me. I'll introduce you to some of our leaders, some of our team leaders around the country. We're all over the country, wherever you're at. You can call me at 904-434-4635. You can text me. If I don't answer, I keep busy, leave me a message. Or you can email me at Payrock, which is Payroc, Rich Norton @gmail.com. You'll see it right at the bottom of the screen, and I look forward to talking with you. And if you qualify, we will teach you how to do this business and live the life that you always dreamed of. I'll be happy to help you.